So here's how I got set up, and I'm forced to quit my job to avoid getting myself in deep shit more. Lately, I have been having a lot of issues with, like spooks, people following me and stuff like that. I don't know who they are and stuff. I got random information about random people everywhere, so it seems like they're pretty well organized. So anyway, it seems like these people have some sort of higher position of power as well, and they can do all sorts of events in your life. Here's one event that happened to me that really kind of woke me up to the whole thing, that there is some sort of democratic conspiracy, some sort of socialist communist army in America. Okay, so I was driving in Ohio. As I was driving in Ohio in my commercial vehicle, a DOT officer pulled me over. I knew there was nothing wrong with the truck. Okay, nothing, because I keep my equipment up to date. Okay, so here's what happened. The DOT officer pulls me over. He went over every inch of the truck. Every inch of the truck. He went over my brake measurements. He went over my tire measurement. He went over all the tests that they do. Leak tests, brake tests, alignment tests. He literally went over every single thing on the truck, and he couldn't find a single thing. One thing he couldn't find with the mechanically wrong with the truck. As he was going under my truck, he was adjusting my brakes, my brake pads, because I had no idea why he was adjusting. I thought it was just part of the inspection to adjust my commercial vehicle brakes, my brake pads, because you can easily adjust them on under the truck, and they make a clacky noise whenever you adjust them. To me, I had no idea what was that all about, because in my mind I was like, this guy's not going to find anything, he's just trying really hard to get me. And then he gave me an inspection form saying that one of my amber lights on the back of my trailer was on instead of off. And I was just like, are you serious? He is going to give me a ticket, a violation ticket that I had to fix and have the mechanical violation repaired. In 12 hours that I did, I went to a company terminal and I had the amber lights off instead of on. I mean, how ridiculous is that? So I received one safety violation point for that. One safety point violation for that. Okay, so this Lowe's was had it down. Look, one democratic state, Ohio, messes up my brake pads. As I'm going down the hill in Colorado, I noticed that every time I would use my brakes, my PSI on my air tanks was leaking air like crazy. And I was just like, holy crap, I cannot, I was going slow down the hill with my flashers on, but my PSI on my tanks were losing way too much air. And I end up with a half a tank, almost like empty tank of air. And I was freaking out because my truck was going down the hill at like 50 miles an hour. 50 miles an hour, it was right under the hill. And then I noticed in my mirror I had a police officer pull me over at that time. But the guy was super cool, right? He understood everything, and he didn't give me anything. He gave me a citation for it was actually a warning for changing the flow of traffic. It was not even a speed ticket. He gave me a warning saying I changed the flow of traffic because as I was going down the hill, I was being super safe about it, and I put myself in the center lane of the highway to avoid being on the left lane and on the right lane for any incoming cars that could, collide with me as I was, going down the hill. I was like, I'm going to go in the center lane because it's a safe lane to be. Any incoming cars that gets inside the highway, they won't be, facing me as I'm going down the hill 50 miles an hour. And the speed limit was about 55. I was going down the hill 50, and then I reached 60, and I went up the hill and it stopped me a little bit. And then I called my company, and after I got my warning, it's not even on my record. Could you believe that? It's not even on my record. So they couldn't get me in Ohio, and then they couldn't get me in Colorado. So they tried to get me in the state of Washington. It was super coordinated, because they couldn't get me in Ohio, they couldn't get me to have a fatal crash in Colorado, and then as I'm in Washington, here's what they did. Here's the incredible thing that they did. This was the most organized event that I ever had in my life. There's no coincidences here, okay? You have to listen to this. And Washington State, as I was going to Washington State, a DOT officer at a scale house went outside of her building, was pointing at me, talking about something. I have no idea what she was talking about. Inside a truck, okay, inside a truck, you can't stick your head out when you pull down the window, because it's huge. The door on the side is huge. Like, in order for you to put down your window and stick your head out to hear what people are saying, you have to take your seatbelt out. So I take my seatbelt out, right in front of her, and I was like, yes, what it is? And she's like, oh, how come you're not wearing a seatbelt? And I'm like, I was just wearing the seatbelt. Was that what you're trying to tell me? Because I was wearing my seatbelt the whole time. And she's like, no, pull over, and I'm gonna give you violations for not wearing a seatbelt. So as I was over there, I was telling her, look, you're supposed to be representing the state, and you're doing a terrible job at it, because you saw me wearing the seatbelt, okay? I have no idea what you're trying to get me for, why you were calling me, and things like that. And she was just giving me this weird smile, like this disgusting smile on her face, and like she got me and some shit like that. And then she gave me a seatbelt violation for not wearing a seatbelt. And guess what? I have my attorney. I don't want to show you my attorney's paperwork, but here's it is. My attorney paperwork says that my attorney represented me in the courthouse in the state of Washington, and the judge dismissed my case because there were not enough evidence suggesting that I was guilty for not wearing a seatbelt, and that my charge was dismissed. And here's the thing, because what happened was, I got the violation, I got the lawyer, I won the case, I went back to work, and when I got back to work, my company was saying that they needed to install a camera inside my truck. They needed to install a camera inside my truck because I wasn't wearing a seatbelt. Wait a minute. Why would they install a camera inside my truck that had all these crazy sensors, and when it wasn't supposed to be there to begin with, because the seatbelt violation was a setup, because they've been trying to set me up since Ohio, since Colorado, and then they got me in the state of Washington, and I was not guilty for that because I fought that in court. I paid like $250 for lawyer's fee, plus all the other stuff that I had to pay for, and then I won the case. Okay, I won the case against the state of Washington for not wearing a seatbelt, and I was proven to be innocent and not guilty. And so here's what happens next. I go back to work. My company forces me to have a camera inside the truck. The camera is literally recording me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, every time. Anytime I stop or start the truck, the camera is already recording. And then I called my company saying, hey, you know, I was proven to be innocent. There was no charges against me for not wearing a seatbelt. Could you get the camera off? And the camera was just like, you need to contact safety. And then I called safety, and then safety was just like, well, just send in the documents, and I did. So out of the blue, they say that my following distance, they were saying that I received 5 points for following distance. I'm like, what? Following distance? What do you mean following distance? And they were just like, well, we can't get the seatbelt violation off, but your following distance is not, 4 seconds. And I'm like, are you serious? Because when you're driving through cities like Atlanta, when you're driving through cities like Florida, Orlando, and you're driving through New Jersey and St. Louis, cars literally cut me off a million times because I'm a truck driver and I'm used to cars cutting me off all the time. And sometimes they slam on the brakes and I get an alert message saying that, hey, your following distance is not, 4 seconds. I'm like, that guy just slammed on his brakes. How am I supposed to control that? I have to stop the truck, as quick as possible without colliding with the car in front of me. And they were saying that, oh, not only your following distance is wrong, but you had a hard brake. I'm like, yes, I had a hard brake on the truck because people cut me off and they sometimes slam on the brakes to take a right or left because they're undecisive on where on how to turn or what location they need to turn. So they cut me off, slam on the brakes, and then they take a turn. And I have to stop a 55,000 pounds truck, 55,000 pound truck, and keep a following distance of 4 seconds when somebody cuts me off and slam on the brake. Okay, so they gave me 5 points for following distance, and now they're talking about how I'm not going to be able to have the camera off now because, well, you got 5 points for following distance and speed. And I'm like, wait, I got a violation for speed. I was on the highway speed and below the highway speed, and they were saying that because my truck is governed at 65 miles per hour. Okay, my truck is governed at 65 miles an hour. The state speed limit is 75 in Wyoming, Colorado, and those other states. It's 80 miles per hour. I'm driving at 65 on a huge truck. And then it's company policy to drive under 70. So every time I go down the hill or use my sails, because a truck has sails on the side. Whenever it's winding from a specific direction, you gain more speed to save fuel and things like that. They're all aerodynamically designed to have the sails to give you more miles per gallon on the truck. So whenever you have high winds in a certain direction, you reach this 60, 70 miles per hour easy on a semi. And so every time I was reaching 70 miles per hour, they were giving me bullshit saying, hey, you need to call this lady because you're going at 70 miles per hour. And I'm like, excuse me, the state limit for... I was driving for a whole year this way, right? I was driving for a whole year this way, meaning that I was reaching 70 miles per hour down a small hill and just going, below the speed limit, because some states is 80 miles per hour, like Wyoming and Kansas and Western Texas. And so they gave me 5 points of safety point violation. They were saying that they were not going to give me permission to remove the camera inside the truck, and they were talking about how I'm reaching 70 miles per hour. So they couldn't get me for a DOT inspection. They couldn't get me for going down the hill. They tried to cause a perfect accident by adjusting my brakes in the rear angle, so that when I use the brakes, my PSI on my tanks would use more air than actually using the standard air PSI on the brake pads to keep a stable speed. When you're, like, let's say when you're fanning the brakes or when you're stopping the truck, your PSI would literally like leak air, like shh. And I was just like, whoa, what is going on here? Because this is insane. A DOT officer adjusts my brake and then messes up all my truck, and then I get a violations for amber lights, for freaking amber lights. And then they couldn't get me for a speeding ticket in Colorado because the police officer was super nice because he knew me. Okay, the police officer, like, we were buddy together. We were really, really nice guy. And he's like, hey, I'm not going to give you anything, right? So just don't worry about it. And I was talking to him like, hey, like, somebody was trying to set me up. And he was like, it's all right, good. Like, dude, it's all right, dude. I understand. So I'm just going to give you a warning. And I got a warning. And they couldn't get me Ohio, Colorado, all blue states. Ohio, Colorado, Washington State, all of them, on the same week. And they knew the company policy, they knew everything about how the camera was going to be installed, how the whole event was going to happen. Now, like the beginning of the video, like I was saying, I will lose this job because I cannot stay with the company, because I'm going to be forced to resign for my own safety, because I cannot be fired for safety violation. Because if you get fired from a company because of their safety policy standards, then the next company that I'm going to be working for is going to see that whenever they call this company. But I know that most companies just call to verify my employment history, so it's not going to work. So I have to find another company to work for. Sucks, but I got set up in a very ridiculous way, very ridiculous way. I'm about to go to a DMV office right now to get all my records. I want to make sure my files are clean, and I have my lawyer's paperwork here. I'm not sure because it shows my name on it, it shows my address on it, shows the lawyer's information on it, but it says, here's what the paperwork says. I appear in court for you on Tuesday, and the county name and the district court. Even though you were unable to appear in court, I was able to persuade the prosecutor to dismiss your ticket. The charge was dismissed and your case is closed. Thank you very much, and my attorney's name. So if you're listening to this and you tried really hard to set me up, it didn't work, but you won the battle, you won the war, because I have to forcibly be resigned because I cannot be in a truck that tells me to govern I cannot follow company policy. I have to follow the state representatives, the people in charge of state laws, not company policies. And because of that, there's not going to be I can't drive at 60 miles per hour, and I have to make my delivery on time. Driving at 60 miles an hour, there's no way you can make a delivery on time. Plus, I have 30 hours of driving per week, and there's no way I'm going to be able to make on-time delivery driving at 60 to 65 miles an hour. I have to drive at least 70 or more, because there's no way. There's no way. Driving at Wyoming, driving in those places, everybody cuts you off because you're too slow on the highway. And I'm scared of everything that I do inside the truck is recording me 12 hours a day, every time I'm driving, every time I'm sleeping, every time I stop, brake, every time somebody's in front of me cut me off. I'm responsible for other drivers around me. And I noticed a lot of shady drivers. I have no idea who they were, but they were just going right in front of me, driving about, like a very safe distance, and then they would slowly brake, and then I would be forced to go around them. But in a way where when you're driving a truck, you have 6 mirrors, you got to make sure there's nobody around you, right? Like, you got to check everything, then you got to take a turn. That's how they were setting me up, because they would get in front of me, stop, and then it would be 4 seconds within stopping distance, and then I would be looking at my mirrors, making sure nobody's around me, and to go around them. So these cars were literally going in front of me and doing that. I don't know who the hell they were, but every blue state I went to, these cars would go in front of me, stop real hard, and then go in front of me, stop real hard, and go in front of me, stop real hard. They knew something about my company policy. They knew, I don't know who they are, but these people are very, very coordinated. They know a lot more than just stalking or doing some stuff like that. I don't know. It's crazy, man. Crazy. My last week, I was driving in Wyoming, and My hood in the truck was melted, man. The hood in the truck was melted from outside and inside, and my coolant tank literally blew up, coolant everywhere. And I was just like, was this some sort of energy weapons? Like, what the fuck is this? You know, who the hell hits me with the energy weapon out of the blue just to put me out of services in the morning, right when you wake up? So were they trying to get me for not being able to deliver on time? I'm not sure, man. But these people are very, very coordinated, and I'm forced to resign from my job because I can't stay with a camera recording me. I don't feel comfortable with some people watching me, people that I don't know watching me 12 hours a day. There's something to do with, I don't know why they're being obsessive with watching me 12 hours a day inside my own. It's like, would you be comfortable working with a camera facing you 12 hours a day while you're trying to make work, and then someone out there would tell you what you're doing wrong and right? When you were not supposed to have the camera there to begin with, because you were found innocent when they were trying to set you up for not wearing a seatbelt. So I'm forced to resign. I have to find another job driving trucks, and I have to stay out of blue states because there's some sort of KGB style, Stasi style stalking at blue states. There is a huge conspiracy going on in America, okay? If you're an intelligence officer out there working for, any sort of government, I just want to say that America has been infiltrated by who I have no clue who they are. They're like Stasis, they're gang stalking, they're targeting conservatives and people who have like minority people who votes for Republican, who have an extensive knowledge about the elites, also has an extensive knowledge about documents proving that they're a bunch of scumbags who sold out to China. And they're very, very mad at people leaking those type of information, and especially for minorities and people out there that they want to be used as pawns for this democratic plantation. So, man, like, just if you're out there and you're Republican, if you have conservative views, if you love WikiLeaks, if you love knowing the truth, just want to tell you that there is an enemy out there. There is an invisible enemy, an invisible hand out there, and they are going to try whatever they can to destroy your life, because I am a perfect living example of that, man. You should have... Man, I have some crazy story when I released the Pizzagate files. Crazy stories. Like, people died, man. People died. Okay, they were set up so hard. It's crazy, man. It's a crazy story. Like, I don't even know if I should put this on video, but I wasn't the one, doing all this. They were responsible for everything in Washington State. Washington State is a very, very, very dangerous state to be in. If you're a Republican, you are going to be targeted by some... I don't know who they are, man. Are they Freemasons? Are they the elites? Are they a secret society? Are they part of the deep state who are, getting people for this? I mean, who are they? So that's where I'm at right now, and I need help finding out who these people are, because they're hiding, meaning that they're scared and they're targeting you with a very, very, like, huge army of people. Like, I have no idea where these people come from. Are they part of some sort of society? Like, what are they? Anyway, I'm done with this video. It's already 24 minutes of video, and I will upload this video just now. And I have to go to the DMV right now. I'm about to go to the DMV to make sure my records are clean, and I have my attorney paperwork here. If anything, I might have to get another attorney to file a case against the clerk of courts for not representing or putting out there my record in solid form. Alright, bye everybody. I got set up. They won this. No, they won. They did a really well job, very coordinated. But you told me that, you're part of some sort of blue state, because everywhere I got set up was in blue states and not red states. So these people are very concentrated in blue states. So if you know who they are, please let me know, DM me and subscribe, and let me know how, your story, and because who the heck are these people? We have to get these people, they're afraid to show their faces because they know they're doing something illegal. All right, bye everybody.